Why, hello there, lovely one. It's me, Helen the Great, and I'm going to show you how to answer this very typical exam question. Of course, this kind of question could be in grade 10, but this is actually out of a grade 11 paper 1 exam, a November one to be more specific, and it is on the functions section of work, so it's something that takes up quite a large percentage of the exam. Let's take a look at it now. We have y is equals to x squared minus 4, y is equals to negative 4 over x, y is equals to negative x over 4, and y is equals to negative 2 to the power of x minus 4. First thing we need to do with all of them is to name them. Well, x is being squared over here. So if you think of squared, you must think of quads. So that means it's a quadratic function, which we also refer to. The quadratic function is the name of the function, but we call the shape of the graph the parabola. And next we have x in the denominator. Now more commonly this is called the inverse function, but in South Africa we usually don't talk about the inverse function, we just talk about the shape it forms, which is the hyperbola. Now in the next one we've got x as a numerator. This could also be written as y is equals to negative 1 over 4x, and that's how we know that it is a straight line, in other words a linear function. We can write straight line, or we could write linear function. So either or. The last one, x is in the exponent position, which makes it very, very easy to name. It's an exponential function. X in the exponent makes it so much easier to remember that. Okay, asymptotes. Now these are the lines that the function will approach, but never ever touch or cross for that matter. So it's usually the lines that are drawn in dashes, and they're either horizontal or they are vertical. So let's take a look. We obviously don't need to do it for the parabola because that's been grayed out. The next one is the hyperbola. You have to be careful here because a hyperbola actually has two asymptotes, and it's what's being added to the x as well as what's being added to the y, or added to the fraction at least. So our two asymptotes are going to be where x is equals to 0. Why? Because 0 plus 0 would be equal to 0, and we cannot divide by 0, so that's the one asymptote. And the other asymptote is where y is equals to 0. And that's because this function, or this fraction over here, will never ever have a value of 0. So it would be impossible for y to be equal to whatever we're adding over there. These are the kinds of things that you should be able to memorize at this stage. You are doing an exam, so you need to know how to answer these questions. Just learn it, baby. Just learn it. Okay, asymptotes of a straight line. And here is a trick question. Does a straight line have an asymptote? No, it doesn't. So this is not applicable. There are no asymptotes. But an exponential function does have an asymptote. Where is it? Well, it's at y is equals to negative 4. And the reason it's there is because this negative 2 to the power of x can never, ever, ever have a value of 0, which means that y will never, ever go through the point where it's equals to negative 4. So be careful here. You've got two asymptotes for the hyperbola, none for the straight line, and one for the exponential function. Once again, these are things you can learn. So sit down and learn them. Now this is where people sometimes get confused. If we are shifting a function, any function, up or down, we just straightforward add it. So we have y is equals to x squared minus 4. We're shifting it 2 units down, so we're going to subtract another 2 from that to give us y is equals to x squared minus 6. It's not bad. The next one, y is equals to negative 4 over x. Y is equals to negative 4 over x. In order to move it down, we're just subtracting 2. There we go, we don't even have to calculate anything further. We don't need to do it for the straight line. They don't want it. But we do need to do it for the next one. And once again, if we're moving down, we've just got to subtract it from what's already there. So -4, because that's what we're told, and now we're moving it down 2. So it becomes y is equals to -2x minus 6. Okay, so all of those changes we've made to what's happening to the q value. In other words, that bit that's on the end. -4 became -6. 0 became -2. And 0, well, we didn't do that one. -4 became -6. But now when we shift it left and right, we're not making changes to the q value, we're changing what's happening to x. So let's start with the up. We've got y is equals to x squared, and we started off with -4, and we're adding 1, but now we're also shifting 3 units left. Left is in that direction, and remember it's counterintuitive, so we're not going to subtract, we're actually going to add. So it becomes x plus 3 squared. In other words, our new function has a formula of y is equals to x plus 3 squared minus 3. We do exactly the same thing for the next one. It started off as y is equals to -4 over x, but now we are shifting 3 units left, which means we are adding 3, and we're going 1 up, so it was at 0, and it's now at 1. The next one, we're going to shift it 3 units left, so we take our x value, and we shift it 3 units left, and then 1 unit up. And the last one, I'm sure you can predict this now, we're shifting it 3 units left and 1 unit up. Well, my lovely one, these are once again things that you can learn off by heart on how to do. So make sure that you get these questions right in your exam. This particular question was worth 14 marks, and that's almost 10% of your exam, so it really is worth making sure that you know all of this. Well, my lovely one, that's it for now. Much love.